G'day, still working out this story stuff, like whether I want to just write the stories out or speak them to the camera. I'm hoping to do an audible audiobook, and yeah, so I'm just getting a feel for how my voice sounds before I actually go through and do the audiobook. So this one's called Men's Art Group. We'll see how it goes. I might have to split it up into a few different videos, otherwise it'll be too big. So what are we on now? 30 seconds. I'll go 10 minutes and then we'll do the next one. So Men's Art Group. Men's Art Group. Thanks, bro. See you when you get back. I wait between a tree-sized rock and a skinny tree as my guide jogs off. He's heading down to the elders at the knowledge tree. If they give him the okay, I'll go down and join in to see what I can learn. With a breathless voice, he returns. They said it's okay. It's not a meeting of elders. It's a meeting of men and elders. Great, let's go. He guides me down a narrow track and continues the conversation. They said you could stay for a while. They'll let me know when it's time to guide you back out. Thanks again for doing this. I really appreciate it. No worries. I can't be sure you'll like what you hear though. They might ask you to speak too. Speak? I say with just a hint of nervousness in my voice. Yeah, what would I say? My friend seems to have completely caught his breath. He stops and turns to look at me. How would I know what is in your mind to speak? I'm not sure what to think. So I say, okay. The path we walk lowers with every step. It feels like we're entering Earth. The rocks at head height echo our voices back to us. So how long ago did you get initiated, I ask. Not so long, I'm the most recent initiate, he announces proudly. Oh cool, so you're the youngest? No. But wouldn't you be the youngest if you were the last initiated? My friend is a bit younger than me and he's been initiated for a long time. Oh, okay. I think you'd like him. Yeah, why is that? Well, he has a lot of ideas and he's great at speaking. Most people like him most of the time. What does he speak about? My friend stops again and looks at me. How should I know? You'll have to listen. He turns again and walks the path between two pieces of earth. The voice of the elders echoes through the ancient walls. With a steady pace, my guide announces, "This is as far as I can take you. I will now pass over to the big narrator." The two young men continue down the bush track, their conversation as silent as their bare feet. They're guided by the distant chatter of the elders. In a clearing, they arrive at the knowledge tree. The flow of the group never stops as they briefly acknowledge the arrival of the two young men. Old, fat, and full of seasons, the tree sits waiting, smiling. The visitor expected the men to be sitting in a circle, but they're not. They casually sit where they like, on the roots, reclined on the dirt, standing. It's hard to see what's at the center of their conversation. Is it complete and undivided attention, or is it just them talking about the weather as they're getting ready for the real conversation? The two young men sit on a root near the back of the group. Side by side they perch, dangling their feet as they observe the conversation like a flowing creek. A grey-headed man sitting cross-legged on the dirt suddenly makes announcements to the group. He tells of the weather patterns of the last 5 days. He stops talking and casts an eye directly at the visitor. When the energy becomes suitably uncomfortable, he continues. We thank the gods and make this offering. He clunks two rocks and an object on the ground. The men look eagerly at the objects and back at the weatherman. He looks at the visitor and then back to the group. Now, in the future and in the past, we accept gratefully. In the next 5 days, we are moving camp. We ask for less rain on these days. We completely accept the decision that is to be, as we know that the wisdom is higher than ours. Now, in the future and in the past, we accept gratefully. He picks up his rocks and puts them in his bag. The two young men, I think I might have to work on my old man voice because it sounds either that or I'm just an old man. Anyway, I've got to work on it. He picks up his rocks and he puts them in his bag. The two young men sit quietly and observe the conversation flowing. Casually, the members offer their thoughts. "We should move tomorrow," one elder says. One of the younger elders replies, "We should eat the food we have now and then move." The eldest of the two addresses him directly for all to hear. "Why should we sit around eating when we could be hunting at the next camp? Why should we run out of food before leaving? Why should we ever run out of food if we don't need to?" More men offer their thoughts. Some quiet, some heated. Crystal clear and ever-flowing they speak. No decision is made, but somehow the conversation drifts and they talk about something that is completely and seemingly quite different. Artworks. The guide's younger friend seems very confident. He has a clear voice that naturally and politely silences others. "I think our children are important," young man announces. The elder, the one with the coal black hair, listens. He hasn't said anything, but it's obvious that it is he who makes all others. The elder, the one with the coal black hair, listens. He hasn't said anything, but it's obvious that it is he who makes all others. But it is obvious that it is he who makes all others the most quiet and the most polite. Elder leader is far too smart to be tricked. "I also think our children are important." "Well, if you think they're important, then why can't they do artworks?" Elder leader moves his body, but it seems like he won't be swayed. He looks around at the other men, not for backup, but simply to gauge his surroundings. They can do artworks when they learn the knowledge. This is usually when they're older. But children need a space to express their creativity, to try things. I agree. Children can express their creativity, but not with our artworks. Why? Because the elders said. Elder leader seems slightly pleased with his simple answer, but he offers more. The creativity of our children is strong, wild. The creativity in our artworks, wild, old, and stable. Only when we tame our childlike wildness are we likely to listen. Only when we tame our childlike wildness are we likely to listen to the wisdom gained around and before us. Young man knows to listen, but it's clear that he's thinking. Elder leader breathes and then continues. Even at an older age, we may not earn the right to contribute our individual mark on knowledge creation. Young man replies instantly. But of all things we do, our artworks are not real. They're created. Why can't children experiment in this space? His comment causes the group to shuffle and disagree. Young man is far too smart to continue on this line, so he tries to change quickly. Of course our artworks are very important and they always will be, but they are not real. The men get upset again, but this time he doesn't care. If we left our artworks at the camp and we washed the artworks off the walls, we would still eat at the next camp. There will still be water at the next creek. The rocks will still be rocks. Of all the things we have, artworks are the least real. This surely should be the safest space for the children to create and play. His comments lead the group into a flurry of smaller heated conversations. Elder leader watches and listens. Young man is happy to let the conversation flow. He knows he could be gaining support. I'm going to go for 10 minutes. Elder leader raises his hand. At this moment, I disagree. I am happy to listen to the group, but now I would like to listen to the weatherman. Instantly, and with his eyes already shut, weatherman throws his rocks into the dust. His hum is a haunting tone that pervades the quiet of the group. The two young men shrug their shoulders as they look at each other. As weatherman hums, I'll leave it there, and I'm going to make a playlist. So the next part, the next 10 minutes, I would say it would only be another 10 minutes, will be next.